This photo looks normal until you discover what's really going on.
Welcome to Eternal Moments. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start.
In 1927, an elegant country wedding seemed to be following the perfect script until a pig decided to steal the show. While the bride and groom posed solemnly, the animal burst onto the scene as if it too had been invited to the banquet. The image captures that unrepeatable moment where formality and chaos collide in a single burst of laughter frozen in time. Decades later, we don't remember the vows, but we do remember the pig that stole the spotlight. In 1913, thousands of women took to the streets with determination, defying a society that denied them a voice at the ballot box. With firm banners and resolute gazes, they marched not only for themselves, but for future generations. Each step resonated as an act of courage in a world that tried to silence them. That march was not just a protest, it was the echo of a change that would transform history. In 1983, in a Brussels studio, Pierre Culliford, better known as Peyo, proudly held the finished drawing of one of his little blue characters. That simple sketch encapsulated hours of imagination and an entire universe born from his pencil. The Smurfs, who began as figures on paper, were already conquering screens and hearts around the world. The photo captures the intimate moment where fantasy and creativity meet face to face with their creator. In 1941, Albert Einstein momentarily set aside his equations to find refuge in the notes of his violin. The same mind that revolutionized physics found balance and emotion in classical music. With his eyes closed and the bow gliding smoothly, he seemed to be seeking harmony not only in the sound, but in the universe itself. The image reveals the more human side of genius, a man who also needed melodies to understand the world. The day Arnold Schwarzenegger received his U.S. citizenship marked much more than a legal formality. It was the confirmation of an immigrant dream come true. Years earlier, he had arrived with a thick accent and enormous ambitions. Now he held the document that symbolized a new identity. Between muscles, discipline, and determination, his story already seemed like something out of a movie. The image captures the moment the foreign bodybuilder officially became part of the American dream. In 1935, a group of Padang women, recognizable by the rings adorning their necks, stopped in the middle of a London street to ask a policeman for directions. The cultural contrast was striking: ancestral tradition versus British formality. Amid gestures and curious glances, the moment seemed to unite two completely different worlds in a single urban scene. The photograph captures that unexpected intersection where diversity and surprise meet face to face. On July 16, 1969, Kmart employees stopped in front of a television to witness the beginning of a historic feat. Amid shelves and cash registers, the everyday world was paused. Their expressions reflected astonishment at the moment that would forever change space history. It was proof that even in an ordinary shop, you could feel the future taking off. During the First World War, a converted bus served as a mobile hub for carrier pigeons arriving from the front. In the chaos and uncertainty, these birds were the vital link between soldiers and commanders. Each message carried could mean strategy, rescue, or hope. The image reveals how, before modern technology, warfare also depended on wings and paper. In the 1950s in Paris, a Frenchman tries a drink from the United States for the first time, the Coca-Cola Company. His expression mixes curiosity and surprise at the bubbly flavor, so different from the traditional. In the immediate aftermath of the war, that sip symbolized the arrival of a new cultural influence. The image captures the moment when a simple drink becomes a small clash of worlds. In the 1940s in London, a milk vending machine offered practicality in times marked by war and rationing. For just a few coins, citizens could take home a cold bottle of soda without needing a shopkeeper. It was simple technology, yet revolutionary for daily life. The image reflects how, even in difficult times, innovation found its place in the urban routine. In a school photograph from Havana in 1937, a group of children pose innocently for the camera. Among them, with a lollipop in his hand and a carefree expression, appears the boy who years later would become Fidel Castro. No one in that moment imagined the role that child would play in Cuban history. The image freezes the contrast between ordinary childhood and the revolutionary future that was about to unfold. In 1914 Japan, a young girl smiles, dressed in a delicate kimono to celebrate the new year, the most important holiday of the year. Her expression reflects hope and purity, while family traditions fill the air with ritual and good wishes. Every detail of her attire symbolizes respect for the culture and the transition to a new beginning. The image captures a moment of serene joy in a country that honors the future without forgetting its roots. 20 minutes after the explosion in 1945, Nagasaki was shrouded in smoke and silence. The once vibrant city was transformed into an unrecognizable landscape. The image captures the instant when history changed forever, a stark reminder of the power and consequences of war. In 1957, an Elvis Presley concert unleashed screams, euphoria, and a youthful frenzy never before seen. His every move shook the stage and shattered the norms of the time. Music was no longer just sound, it was a cultural revolution. The image captures the moment when rock and roll became a global phenomenon. Albert Einstein's office on the day of his death remained silent. Papers and equations still scattered across his desk. His unfinished notes seemed to whisper questions the universe still holds. There were no ceremonies there, only the imprint of a mind that never stopped searching for answers. The image portrays the physical absence of a genius, but the eternal permanence of his ideas. In London in 1941, amidst wartime shortages, a beautician painted stockings directly onto her client's legs. What seemed like a simple fashion statement was actually ingenuity in the face of rationing. With a steady hand, she even drew the back seam to achieve a realistic effect. The image shows how elegance and creativity survived even in difficult times. In the 1970s, the Porsche 911 assembly line at the Stuttgart factory was pure German precision in motion. Chassis and engines moved with near-perfect synchronization, shaping an automotive icon. Every unit that rolled off the line carried power, design, and sporty character. The image captures the serial birth of a legend on wheels. On November 13, 1963, in Plymouth, a Beatles concert unleashed a wave of screams and uncontrollable excitement among the young women in the audience. Tears, laughter, and raised hands marked the beginning of Beatlemania. Music was no longer just entertainment, it was an unstoppable social phenomenon. The image captures the moment an entire generation lost its voice for four lads from Liverpool. In the 1920s, a police officer inspected a woman's bathing suit to ensure it complied with the strict regulations of the time. The scene reflects a time when even beach fashion was under scrutiny. What seems unthinkable today was then a matter of public decorum. The image captures the clash between personal freedom and social control during a period of cultural transformation. In 1918, during the devastating Spanish flu pandemic, face masks became a symbol of protection and collective responsibility. Streets, hospitals, and trams displayed covered faces in an attempt to curb the spread of the virus. It was a silent battle against an invisible enemy that was spreading rapidly. The image reminds us how, even more than a century ago, society was already facing health crises with measures that seem familiar today. In the streets of Budapest in 1984, a blind couple walks arm in arm while their child walks beside them. Each step reflects trust, coordination, and an unbreakable family bond. The city becomes a stage where vulnerability and strength coexist. The image conveys tenderness and demonstrates that love also guides the way. In the 1960s, Harvey Ross Ball poses next to his most famous creation, the iconic smiley face. What began as a simple design ended up becoming a global symbol of optimism. With just a few yellow lines and a big smile, he managed to convey the universal emotion. The image captures the birth of one of the most recognizable icons of pop culture. On June 19, 1972, a Vietnamese family flees towards Saigon with what little they can carry. Parents and 5 children move forward amidst fear and uncertainty, seeking refuge in the midst of the conflict. Each step is a mixture of despair and hope. The image captures the human face of a war that forced thousands to abandon their homes. In 1945, after the end of World War II, the Mona Lisa is carefully unpacked after having been hidden to protect it from the conflict. Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece reappears intact, a symbol that art managed to survive destruction. Amid crates and attentive gazes, the moment conveys relief and a sense of cultural victory. The image captures the return of a smile that not even war could erase. Around 1897, a worker precisely bottles ketchup at the original H.J. Heinz Company factory. Amidst glass, labels, and artisanal production, a brand destined to become global was being built. Her work reflects the key role of women in industry during the height of the industrial age. The image captures the humble origins of a product that would end up on tables around the world. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, glass bottles were the classic symbol of soft drinks. Heavy, returnable, and with that unmistakable popping sound when opened, they were a staple at every family gathering. It was a time when the packaging also had character and durability. The image evokes nostalgia for a time when simplicity felt special. In 1935, new recruits of the 7th Queen's Own Hussars practiced balancing on wooden horses before mounting the real ones. The training combined discipline, technique, and a good dose of patience. Each exercise aimed to create precise riders for a regiment with a rich history. The image shows the curious but rigorous beginning for those aspiring to the British cavalry. In 1931, at a railway station in Germany, a vending machine offered hot sausages to hurried travelers. With just a few coins, hunger was satisfied without the need for a vendor. It was a curious mix of culinary tradition and mechanical modernity. The image captures how innovation could also be served, wrapped in steam. In 1964, a commuter train in Japan moves forward at dawn, packed with workers heading to the city. Amid formal attire and still sleepy expressions, the routine of a nation experiencing rapid economic growth begins. The rhythm of the train reflects discipline, punctuality, and modernity. The image captures the silent pulse of a country stirring before sunrise. In 1922, the performers of the famous Ringling Bros and Barnum and Bailey Circus posed together in New York, forming a mosaic of acrobats, animal trainers, and extraordinary characters. Each face represents spectacle, risk, and wonder in an era when the circus was the greatest entertainment on earth. Under giant tents, fantasy came to life night after night. The image captures the collective magic of a show that promised the impossible. Al Capone's prison cell at Eastern State Penitentiary reveals a striking contrast: unusual comfort within imposing walls. Carpet, furniture, and a lamp broke the typical image of austere confinement. Even behind bars, his fame and power seemed to linger. The image shows how the most feared criminal of his time ended up confined within stone walls. In August 1986, a chess game is played outdoors on the corner of Broadway and West 49th Street in the heart of Manhattan. Amid taxis, lights, and the incessant noise of the city, two minds clash in strategic silence. The contrast between the calm of the chessboard and the urban chaos creates a unique scene. The image captures how even in the city that never sleeps, there is always room to think several moves ahead. In 1922, Winston Churchill appears in a bathing suit far from the podium in solemn speeches. It breaks with his rigid persona and shows a man in an everyday, relaxed moment. It's a reminder that even the most influential leaders had moments of simple humanity. The photograph captures the statesman before the historical weight that would define him years later. In the 19th century, the face of the Statue of Liberty appears isolated, not yet joined to the rest of the structure. The monumental piece reveals details and proportions that are usually overlooked from the ground. It's the moment before it became a symbol of freedom for millions. The image shows how even the greatest icons begin in fragments. In 1950s Paris, a Most Beautiful Legs contest brought together participants behind a curtain that concealed their faces, leaving only their legs visible to the judges. The event blended glamour, curiosity, and the festive spirit of the post-war era. It was a time when fashion and aesthetics were beginning to regain prominence. The image captures a peculiar moment where spectacle and Parisian elegance intertwined. In 1967, an aviator is captured on Truc Bac Lake in Hanoi after being shot down during the war. Surrounded by civilians and Vietnamese combatants, the moment reflects tension, confusion, and the weight of the conflict. The scene took place during the Vietnam War, when the skies were as dangerous as the ground front. The image captures the precise moment when war ceases to be strategy and becomes personal destiny. The majestic LZ-129 Hindenburg airship dominated the skies as a symbol of luxury and technological advancement. In the golden age of aviation, it promised elegant and swift transatlantic travel. Its imposing structure hovering above cities inspired awe and admiration. The image recalls an era when the future seemed to be slowly rising above the clouds. In 1970, the typist of the future was imagined surrounded by screens, buttons, and advanced technology. The vision reflected the fascination with automation and electronic progress. What then seemed like science fiction is surprisingly commonplace today. The image captures how each generation tries to guess what tomorrow will look like. In the 1950s Los Angeles, a neon-lit drive-in diner brought together gleaming cars and young people eager for hamburgers and milkshakes. Waitresses served on roller skates while the radio played early rock hits. It was more than just fast food. It was a meeting place and a symbol of American car culture. The image captures a night where speed, music, and freedom mingled under the Californian sky. In 1944, fresh from the factory, Vought F4U Corsairs and Grumman F6F Hellcats are lined up and ready to depart for the Pacific Theater. Their folded wings and pristine fuselages are yet to witness the combat that awaits them. They represent the industrial might of the United States in the midst of war. The image captures the moment before these new machines become protagonists in the skies of conflict. In the 1960s, a helmet with an integrated communication device promised that motorcyclists could talk to each other on the open road. It was an idea ahead of its time, combining safety and technology in a single accessory. Although rudimentary, it anticipated the connectivity we take for granted today. The image shows how the future of communication began on two wheels. From the Victorian era until the late 1920s, women's swimwear evolved from heavy and modest to lighter and more functional. What began as long dresses and stockings eventually transformed into designs that allowed freedom of movement. Each change reflected new ideas about the body, fashion, and independence of women. The image shows how the beach was also the stage for a quiet cultural revolution. At the 1912 Olympic Games in Stockholm, timekeepers monitored every second with absolute precision. Their work was crucial in determining winners in a sport still young and full of excitement. Surrounded by athletes and expectant spectators, every tick of the clock counted. The image captures the mix of discipline, nerves, and passion that defined the early days of modern competition. On the day his studios opened, Walt Disney smiles amidst cameras and excitement, celebrating the birth of a creative empire. What began as a small workshop would soon transform animation and entertainment forever. The image reflects the excitement of a visionary seeing his dream come true. Every detail of the studio seemed to promise stories that would mark generations. In 1939, a sailor gets a tattoo on his arm in Virginia, carrying with him symbols of adventure, memories, and naval camaraderie. Each stroke represented stories lived on the high seas and promises of loyalty to their crew. What appeared to be just ink was a personal map of experiences and maritime pride. The image captures the tradition of sailors marking their skin with memory and courage. In 1947, members of the U.S. Board of Tea Experts met to taste various varieties, evaluating aroma, flavor, and color. Their mission was to establish quality standards for imported tea, ensuring excellence in every cup that reached the consumer. Amidst spoons and cups, concentration and judgment were paramount. The image captures a moment where taste becomes science and tradition. In 1951, in New York City, onlookers parked their cars along the side of the street just to watch a plane take off. The fascination with aviation was still enormous, and each takeoff felt like a city spectacle. Amidst the blaring horns and glances toward the sky, the city seemed to pause for a moment. The image captures the blend of wonder and routine in everyday life in Manhattan. In 1947, New York City's shoeshine boys take a well-deserved lunch break, sitting on the sidewalk or beside their equipment. Amidst boots and polish, they share conversation, laughter, and moments of respite. The image reflects urban life and the small pauses that sustain the daily routine. Each face tells a story of hard work and perseverance in the Big Apple. In 1923, during hyperinflation in Germany, 100,000 marks were worth barely $1. Money lost value so rapidly that huge wads of banknotes were needed for basic purchases. The images of these mountains of cash illustrate the magnitude of the economic crisis. Each banknote told a story of uncertainty, despair, and daily adaptation. In 1975, a school in Pskov taught chess as part of its students' education in the USSR. The children watched each move with concentration, learning strategy, patience, and critical thinking. The pieces on the board were more than just a game. They were tools of discipline and logic. The image captures a moment where education and chess culture were deeply intertwined.